بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is our program Spirit of Values. This is Dr. Tariq Rashid. In this episode we will discuss the value of thinking, and always we have what we call the compass of values. We have physical values that our body reflect. We have mental values like thinking, for example. Reading is a mental value. But we have emotional values, for example love, and we have spiritual values like belief and iman. But today we will discuss the value of thinking, which is a very high mental value. Let's first think of our brains. Please have a notebook and pen and record the following questions. Do you really know your brain? Let's look at the brain. First, we will look to what we call the information system in our brains. And usually we have three levels of information that are stored in our brain. The first part is what we call primitive mind, which is composed of 8% only for newborn babies. When we are born, we have 8% of information given from God to any born baby. This 8% includes your genetics, DNA, characteristics, for example, length, color of the skin, color of the eyes, and also we have what we call your talent is born with you, and two types of fear only born with any newborn baby. The two types of fear that we are born with: fear of falling down because we are inside there, we were caught, or the fear of noise. These are the two types of fear we are born with. Then when we grow up, we start the second level of our brain formulating information, which is called the pattern mind. The pattern mind reflects the environment, how we act with our five senses, and usually at the age of 40 we get the complete pattern mind, which is 88% of information is stored in our pattern minds. So primitive mind 8%, 88% in our pattern mind, and the last part, which is 4%, is what we call our creative mind, which always help us to think out of the box. What is the box? When they define creativity, thinking out of the box. What is the box? Your pattern mind is the box. Get out of it and think with a new perspective. This is what we call creative thinking. Also, let us discuss the two parts of the brain, the left brain and the right brain. Left brain is concerned with logic, mathematical thinking, words, language, relating issues. Think of the logic, cause effect. This is the left brain. And always 95% of people use their left brain during work and doing the jobs. Right brain. Right brain includes creativity, emotions, colors, imagination, and only 5% of people usually think of their right brain. So what are the main differences? Again, is the type of thinking. For solution, for example, looking for logical solutions, we use our left brain. Our right brains always work in a different environment, emotions, creativity. And they found by research done by Harvard that our right brain work in the following times and places: in bathrooms, taking a shower, before sleeping, early morning, in open areas, for example, in front of the sea, in the desert, in mountains, in parks. Always the right brain, which think of a creative type of thinking, always work in such environment, and the timing of early morning before sleeping. Going deeply also to analyze our brain. How many cells do we have in our brain? So the research in Cleveland Hospital give us more information about the brain capacity. How many cells do you think we have in our brains? According to research, we have around 13 billion brain cells. What is the capacity of each brain cell? Each brain cell can store up to 1 and in front of it 16 million kilometers zero. This is the capacity of one brain cell, subhanallah. What about 13 billion? So we have large capacity of our brains. How much do we use it out of it? Rarely we use 1% of this huge amount. Some information is stored there. So usually, since birth till the present time, everything you saw in your eye is stored in the brain. Every voice you heard since birth till now is stored in the brain. Anything you touch, you smell, is stored in the brain. Subhanallah, يوم تشهد عليهم أيديهم وأرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. So the idea is our brain store lots of information, high capacity. Can we utilize it for thinking? Can we use it for different types of thinking? The value of thinking is a very important value. Let's see what different types of thinking we use in different situations. One type of thinking is called mathematical analytical thinking. We use it for research whenever we go for studying, for example, studying the certain phenomena in the society or in a certain organization. We use mathematical thinking. We make surveys, we make questionnaires, we analyze using statistical approaches. This is called mathematical type of thinking, in which we rely on the results we collect, then transfer this into some sort of information. But also there is what we call logical thinking. Logical thinking is to relate cause with effect. So cause-effect thinking is logical type of thinking. Third type is what we call pattern thinking, what we are accustomed or used to think, stored in our pattern mind. So the third type of thinking is pattern thinking. Other type of thinking is what we call critical thinking, in which we criticize something we read, something we listen to, in order to reach a common understanding, some sort of perfection. So this is what we call critical type of thinking. Also we have what we call positive thinking, in which we look always to the positive side of any issue. Emotional thinking, when we relate the message to our emotions, the feelings, how the message affect our feeling, is what we call emotional thinking. And creative thinking. Creative thinking means thinking differently, thinking out of the box, thinking of a different procedure, of a different solution of problems. And also we have what we call lateral thinking. Lateral thinking, in which we take all factors affecting a certain issue and think in all concepts. This is what we call lateral thinking. And we have also what we call strategic thinking. Strategic thinking, we think of the future. We relate all types of thinking towards strategic thinking, whether pattern thinking, positive thinking, emotional, creative pattern, in order to reach some sort of foresight of the future. This is what we call strategic type of thinking. Now, let's start with what we call the logical type of thinking. Usually when we face problems, we need some sort of logical thinking. Problems are issues that prevent us from achieving a certain goal, obstacles towards progress. So how can we use logical thinking to solve our problems? There is an approach of what we call systematic approach of 6 steps when you face problems. And here is the value of the logical thinking. The first step is define the problem, then quantify the problem, then analyze the problem, then decide the solution. Number 5, implement the solution, then check and take a feedback about what you did. So let's start with one by one step of this systematic approach of logical thinking. The first step is define the problem. And according to Albert Einstein, he said 50% of solving any problem is first to define it in the correct manner. How can we define the problem? First, we have to see all relevant factors towards the problem. And here what we use what we call the concept of a mind map. A mind map, we for example take a piece of paper, then we draw a circle and put the problem and start thinking of all the relevant information in order to define the problem. And usually we have to ask and think of the following questions when we are defining the problem. What is really the problem? When, if there is some sort of time-related factor to the problem, set this. Where is the location, maybe the departments that this problem happens. Who, and usually the who with the problem is a three aspect. Who is responsible, who's affected by this problem. And then we start the how question, looking for tools, approaches, scenarios, solutions, then how much relating to the resources needed to define the problem. So the first step always define exactly your problem by asking these questions. Then the second step is what we call quantify the problem. Try to see how much is the gap. And they always said numbers speak. And if you cannot measure it, you will never manage it. If you cannot measure it, you will never solve it. You will never develop it. So try to quantify the problem. For example, if I have a problem of communication between managers and employees. So how to quantify it? For example, I can say 40% of managers cannot communicate effectively with their employees. So this is the second step, make a quantity to define the gap in the problem. Step number 3 is to analyze the problem. What do you mean by analyzing the problem? Trying to find the causes, why this problem happens. And usually here we use different tools to look for the reasons and causes of a problem. Usually we start with a tool we called fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram or what is called cause-effect diagram. We start thinking on the head of the fish we set the why question, why we have a problem of communication, for example. Then we start looking for the different causes of or reasons of this problem. Maybe I have lack of communication because of very short time available, lots of work, lack of policies, different channels of communication. So define the causes of the problem by drawing what we call fishbone diagram. Then we apply the second rule, which is called Pareto's law, 80-20%. By the way, the whole causes you set is not of the same priority. There are more reasons that have a higher priority in causing the problem. So we start asking 80-20, which means 20% only of the major causes. If you focus on, you can solve 80% of the problem. So this is, you have to filtrate and think of the 20% of the major causes. Once you apply, you can actually look for 80% of effective solutions. So the third tool that we use in order to filtrate the cause is what we call 5 why technique. Usually the first cause is not the root cause. A 5 why terminology or the 5 why technique will help us get directly to the root cause of the problem. For example, this is applied in one of the well-known statue, which is the Statue of Liberty in the United States of America. It's actually to the archaeological department. The statue is the responsibility of the archaeological department. They noticed that there is some sort of corrosion in the statue, and they start the fishbone diagram. Why do we have corrosion? And by applying 80-20, one of the major causes was because they use what we call acidic detergent to wash the body of the statue. Then they ask, why do we use acidic detergent? They stop asking, why do we have corrosion? This is the first why. Then why do we use acidic detergent? They found because there are some sort of waste of the pigeons that came to the statue, and this type of waste cannot go without using acidic detergent. The third, why pigeons came to the statue, and they found they came to feed on the insects that are present on the body of the statue. So the fourth level was why insects came, and they found because of the high concentration of lighting the evening, it attracts the insects. And the solution was to stop the lighting or to make it late for 2 hours. This enhanced the life cycle for 25 years. But if they stop at level 3, they will go for fishermen to look for the pigeons. 5 why technique will help you to understand the root cause of any problem. So this is step number 3 in the systematic approach. And now, after we set the all reasons and causes of the problem, step number 4, decide on solution. How to solve the problem? Usually they said the following: reverse the root cause and ask how. By asking how to remove the root cause, you will reach different types of solutions. Some of them traditional solutions, some are non-traditional, which is creative solutions, and some of them have positive impacts, others have negative impacts, but we have to go through what we call criteria of selection for the best solution. And in the criteria of selection, we have to look for the cost of the solution, time of implementation, availability of resources, sustainability of the solution, acceptance of the stakeholders, all of these, then we decide on the solution. Step number 4, 5 action planning. How can we transfer this solution into an action plan? And here we set the resources needed, we form the team to solve the problem, and we set an action plan with the clear objectives, with the clear tasks relating with time and cost. And when we implement, we have always to take feedback. So step number 6 is make sure and evaluate, monitor and evaluate the solution. Has the gap which was defined in step number 2 been bridged? Have we reached a solution for our problem? So this is a systematic approach in what we call the logical type of thinking, which is define the problem, quantify the problem, analyze by looking for the causes, decide on solution, make an action plan, monitor, evaluate, and assess the solution. This ends what we call logical thinking. In our next episode, we will discuss creative thinking, how we apply this value of thinking to solve our problems and create new solutions. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.